What a surprise! Martin Haubro, seeded 8, won the Danish championship that just finished yesterday in Svendborg in Denmark, of course. It's the Danish championship. Anyway, this was, nobody foresaw this. This was, I didn't even mention him as a possible winner when I wrote about it in the newspaper. We had Jesper Thybo and Jonas Bjerre, of course, as the big favorites. And then we had Lars Jandorf and Bjørn Müller-Oxner as outsiders, and the rest was more thought of as, well, they're just not going to do anything. But he won, and he won 7 games and lost 2. He lost to Jesper and Jonas and won the rest, which is very impressive and very surprising. So I'm going to try to look a little bit at what he did and how is this possible. How can an IM with 2391, who's probably never been really close to a GM norm, he made a GM norm plus a half point this time and got the Danish title ahead of the young talents. How did this happen? Well, first of all, Martin has always been a dangerous player. He's he's a good fighter. He stays there. He fights, and he doesn't give up. So if you want to beat him, you have to play well. And this is a very good thing against Danish players in general, and of course against most players, just not give up and keep on fighting. And he had a lot of bad positions. Another thing he did, he grew up, his father is a rather good chess player, Sigvard Haubro, but he has a very unsound style that he gave on to his son. And unfortunately for Martin, he played weird openings for many years, and then he realized, okay, I'm not going anywhere with this, and he started to play real openings. But he's not a really good student of openings. He's not like he didn't grow up with the chess base and so on, so he had to learn it. And I don't think he will ever be a super theoretician in any way, but he has started to play real openings, playing the Spanish with white, even though he doesn't know it that well, playing main lines with black and so on, and giving up the Dutch and weird things. And this is very good for developing your chess style. And it's also a big advantage when you're a good fighter, that when you get to fight, you have a good structure, which you usually have. If you have good openings, you will have a good structure. Instead of if you're sitting with the Dutch or something, then your whole pawn position is a wreck. And so when you fight back, you will still sit there with your ruined pawn structure. Anyway, this was from the last round, a very interesting round. Haubro had 6 from 8, and Thybo had 6 from 8, and Haubro had white against Martin Percivaldi, who's also a promising young player, younger than Haubro, and Jesper had black against Bjørn Müller-Oxner, and Jesper didn't lose any games, played okay, had very bad form before, so I think he's probably happy to have played pretty well, but he was not dangerous enough. It's not like this Haubro guy who's winning 7 wins. That's just insane. Anyway, this is the French. Percivaldi got infected with this disease when he was very young, and I think he more or less got a little bit away from it, but then he returns, and this is the problem with the French. When you sort of it feels like home. I don't know. The problem for Martin is it doesn't suit his style very well. He has a tendency. He's a talented player with a good sense of chess, but he's not super good at playing actively, and you have to play actively in the French. If you play the French passively, is usually a disaster, and he has sometimes a tendency to play a little bit too passively. So I would not recommend the French. Are you listening, Martin? He also plays in my club in Hillerød. So don't play the French. Percivaldi just goes into the main line. This is serious stuff, and I don't know if he's got anything serious after before. I think he'll just play main lines and hope it goes well. He has a tendency to have bad positions after the opening, but then play pretty well from there on, and that's better than playing the opening well and then playing badly. This is an a6 is of course a good line. 92 is an interesting move. The knight is misplayed here on c3. Oops, sorry. This guy here is misplayed. It would be nice to support the center with c3. So 92 makes sense. b5, c3, and in general you can say that black has this bishop here. More importantly, though, is that white has more space on the king side, and and black has more space on the queen side, and you would rather have more space on the side with the king. I would, for sure. On the queen side, you get a better ending or dominating position. On the king side, the king is sitting here, and you can go after it. Bishop e7, h4, interesting move. I kind of like this setup for white. I don't really like black's position, but I never liked the French that much. It of course looks a bit clumsy with this guy here, but if you get this pawn to h5, then you have a definite space advantage on the king side, and black will never be able to avoid. There will be some open lines at some point. So here, Percivaldi tries to solve the problem immediately, but in a bad way. H5. It doesn't really fit with how to play this position. I think he simply has to ignore the king side and develop his queen side. Rook b8 or something, I think is a move that makes sense. But this move is a problem. And the funny thing is here, Haubro is a very opportunistic player, which is a good thing in chess, to be opportunistic. You have to take your chances. And the funny thing is, a guy like Haubro, he made a GM norm. Is he's going to be a GM? Maybe, maybe not. The problem is that after this, he will probably go to a tournament and then he will lose 3 games or something, which is what happens when you have a high variance style like Martin Haubro. You lose a lot, you win a lot, and of course you win more tournaments that way. So it's better than playing like Schandorf, who's played the Danish championship like a million times and won once. It's better to play like this and then crash and burn or win the whole damn thing. So that's I think to think about. If you are not the best player, then having more variance is a good thing. That's also tiger chess. Anyway, okay, f5. I like this move. I like this move that this h5 weakens this square a lot, and already we see that black is under serious pressure. White will come with something like this and this bishop here, and you can see that black could just collapse on the white squares. By the way, this French and also the advanced variation of the Caro-Kann has shown that this space advantage is to be taken very seriously, even when you have a sort of a bad bishop. The space advantage is simply more important than the bad bishop. So this is something where chess understanding has definitely evolved a lot, and no longer are people saying, I got rid of this bishop, so I have a good structure and I will be fine. No, you don't have enough space on the king side, and you risk getting squeezed. And this makes sense, but we also see that this structure here is not inspiring a lot of confidence, is it? It looks kind of weird, and we also see that this square is really juicy. Queen c2, that's a really weird move. And this is also Haubro. He didn't he didn't grow up with the chess understanding, that sort of learning, seeing a lot of Geller games or something like that. That's, by the way, one of the old guys we gotta see in the in GM talks. We can learn a lot from Geller, Efim Geller, a Russian player, even though Russians are not very popular at the moment. Queen c2 makes no sense. It's just okay. It's a double attack. It hits here and it hits here, but come on. This is you. Do you really want to take this one with the this this one with the queen? Nah, not really. I don't think so. Anyway, okay. Knight b4. I'm not sure I like this. Okay, and then that queen just go, and he immediately gives it up. Of course, Black's wet dream is to get something like this here and playing g6, and he will be more or less okay. Is that gonna be possible? No. By the way, he immediately gives it up. Here, knight f8 must be the right move. He gives knight b6, and that is, and here, white to move. What will you do? It's obvious. You're gonna play b3, and then this knight is just, it cannot jump here, cannot jump here. What was it doing? It's defending d5. That's not even attacked. So and it's missing because it really had to go to this square. So knight b6 is just a move. And say, oh, I want a pawn, but no, you completely lost control over the dark square on the king side, and white is already much better here. A3, attacking the knight, kicking it back, and here just something like this, knight f4, and white is just much better. Black structure is a disaster, and he could hope one day to play something like this and get this knight here. That's that's the only hope. So that's also why I like knight f4. Bishop d5. Here, Black should play f6. He should just say, okay, I'm gonna have a horse, and after this, he's gonna take back with this pawn and saying, okay, my king down here is not in a good spot. It's not gonna have a, you can put it anywhere on the board and it's gonna be unsafe. But the same thing goes for your king down here, which is important. That okay, I have a pawn more, but I'm probably gonna lose one of these pawns. But I also have some squares that might one day be interesting, and your king don't have a safe spot either. Maybe here, maybe not. I don't know. But at least we'll have a fight. Instead, he plays this move, which is a really weird move. Of course, he's not going to take it because you don't want to exchange queens. I think he'll take back with the bishop. A4, knight a5, and to be honest, it seems like Martin is just playing one move at a time. Not really having a plan, not having a conceptual idea of what he's doing here, and Martin is very good in these kind of the other Martin, the Haubro Martin, in these kind of situations where he's just finding the weaknesses and attacking them, and of course this makes a lot of sense. Just getting the knights, and we see that all these pieces are good. This piece is good, and this guy here does not have a safe place in the whole world. Rook c3, and just getting the bishop out, making winning a pawn, but okay, losing it back. But this looks not very comfortable, and castling. And of course here Black is totally toast. He's got problems on all sides of the board, and all these, and you can just sense it. And this is, by the way, a good thing to think about. This is you sense that these pieces are very good. You also sense that something's gonna have to break somewhere. And also, this guy is just waiting to be a monster. Queen c7. I don't know what to play with Black here. There's no moves. This one is also hanging here. I'm sorry. It's gonna here. So with the knight here. So I don't think and check and well, the king here is of course there is a rook. There's also a square. So after this here, which by the way, check here of course is very sensible. Getting the other knight in, and the simple threat is to take here and play this move, and thereby hitting everything with check. So there's only one move for black here, and this also gives us a very instructive moment, because of course white is better on all sides of the board, clearly better. There, the h pawn is actually also hanging, but it's also clear that this rook here, who it had to go there to defend along this this line, these two squares it had to defend, but it's also clear that it cannot interfere with what's going on the queen side. So what do white do? Just put all the power on the queen side, and these knights here are not coordinating very well. So rook here attacking this this rook, getting ready to exchange it, and then win this pawn, and just playing around this one. And this is very instructive. So after this move comes this move, attacking this this guy several times now, and you cannot really get out of the problems, and here just winning a pawn. Well, black does get something, but then his king was never, the king was never safe down here. So after this move, oops, sorry, rook b3, take. Someone says I should slow down the animation of the pieces. You could give me a remark about that, a comment. Is it annoying that it goes like instant, or should it be? Anyway, after this move, black is totally toast, and we see that all these pieces are not coordinating at all, and all whites are in optimal squares. So you can just know that this is really bad. And here comes a nice move, also showing that Martin is a very strong attacker. He senses weakness, which is a good thing for attack. A5, just don't care about the bishop. And after this, check. And if you take back, you can just take back. This is kind of nice. You can actually just take back, because this pawn gonna queen, or you're gonna play something like this and queen next time. So this is such a, and look at this rook. You could call it a rook with a view. So he had to go and check, and take. And white is now a piece up. And after this move, black resigned. The threat is, of course, this, but losing a piece is obvious. And this marked that Martin Haubro very, very surprisingly have won the Danish championship. Kind of wish I played there, because I've had a good score against Martin, but it seems he's improved a lot. And winning 7 games in against IMs and GMs is not easy. So it's kind of interesting to look into him, and we might do dissecting players on his tournament. You can leave a comment if you think that's a good idea. Anyway, this was GM Talks with a little bit about the Danish Championship. Thank you for watching.